Okay. It says we're live, so welcome on the Crossroads of America. Talk show about guns, politics, or anything else that crosses my mind. We'll answer questions from the audience. Just type them in email at rickslifeasIseeit@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. You can also put it in the chat here too. I have a Patreon page, PayPal, and all that other info stuff in the info section below. Damn, totally messed that one up. What you call it? Let's see. Let's see who's man. This chat hasn't moved in a long time. Let me
There is no live chat. It's a blank box.
Oh.
Might need to refresh again. Hello, Squib.
Okay. Okay. Yes, I need to refresh. I see it. Let me reload, see what happens here. See if I lose everybody. Okay. You should have some stuff in the chat box now. Because Mystic Guns was the first one in. Because I said hi to her. I know that much. Okay. So let's see who we got. Mystic Guns. Then George Washington. I got a feeling that's Patriot. And then we got Shady Hill Homestead. Then Two Live Moo. So they're starting to creep in. All right. But it's winter time. It's Saturday afternoon. You know, people got things to do. Let me introduce my first panelist so far. Is New York Outcast. How you doing?
Doing all right. Thanks for having me. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Hopefully you're having a decent day.
All right. Then we've got everybody's favorite, Squibload.
Yep.
Good to see you. All right. I was just Two Live Moose says he's listening while driving. All right. That works. So there we go. Come on, people. Where are y'all? So anyway, I'm live. My topic, I was going to talk about defensive ammo, you know, and that's why my title says, Dam Travisp11 beat me to the topic. You know, he talked 40 cal this morning, but I was just going to talk defensive ammo in general. But I didn't want people to think that I didn't want people to think. I didn't think people wanted to see that I stole my my topic from Travis. So yeah, I was just thinking because I've been doing some ever since that new was it 30 super carry, and it's called come out by Federal. You know, personally myself, I didn't. I mean, I hear people saying, "Well, it fills the gap between 380 and 9 mil." I didn't think there was a gap between the two. Personally, I know 9 mil's not better, but you know, it's a little more powerful than 380 technically. You know,
better is the right word.
But 380 has better expansion than the 30 super carry. Because I've been doing some research. You know, hell, if you want what I was saying before we went live, the Kingpin said he's listening while working. All right. I personally feel that shot placement, There's some good 380 ammo out there. If you buy factory defense ammo, there's a good selection out there that can do the job. If you're doing your reloading, I mean, use Lehigh Extreme Defense bullets. They're the ones that look like, for lack of a better term, they look like a Phillips screwdriver head. The actual bullet itself, you know. And another thing too is where I was going with this is the 380 doesn't penetrate so far. So for all you people who are afraid of over penetration, there's your answer: 380. It won't go through a body, you know, because it runs out of power before it gets to the back. But it's tore your insides up. But anyway, where I was going with this, and people say they want, something that's got a bit more oomph in it. Well, if you're one of these shooters that, hey, I'm not saying I'm not going to be, because I've never been in a shooting, but I put shot placement above power. What's the word I'm looking for? Stopping power. I don't like using that term because there's no such thing. But velocity, is that another word for it? I mean, if you're one of these guys carrying a 44 Magnum because you want to stop them in one bullet, but then if you're going to stop them in one bullet, that's shot placement. If you're just going to pull the trigger, spray and pray that you're going to hit the target with then you do need a 44. But if I'm trying to think, I can't think of her name. It's going way back in the last century, I believe. There was a woman who shot, at the time, the largest grizzly bear weight-wise in the country. Shot it with a 22 because she placed the bullet right in his brain. And there was another, going way back. There was back in the day when they didn't frown on it, there was an elephant hunter. He shot all of his elephants with sort of like it wasn't much bigger than a 22 as well. I can't think of the bullet size, I forget. But he done that too by shooting the elephant in the brain. And it drops him dead. Boom. So this thing that you need stopping power or whatever, I think is a myth. Personally, myself, it's getting that first shot right and the follow-up. See, and what we all have a bad habit of doing is we go down the range or wherever you go and you never get off the X. What I mean is you never move. I mean, even me, my gimpy old self, I will take a couple of shots, then I will either step to the right or left and take another shot, and it's not moving much. What I would love to get hold of, or I'm trying to talk my friend into making something, is a moving target that moves from left to right or something, or swings back and forth with some kind of motor that, you can shoot at it. I think it would be great practice. Plus, so is when you do that first shot, it's follow up with the second shot. If you don't get the first one where you want it,
I think you're going about it all wrong.
What?
If you want to be hardcore, you strap on a claymore or a grenade, maybe some dynamite, whatever you can get your hands on, and nobody will bother you. As long as you're willing to die for it, people will leave you alone. It's that simple. You don't even have to worry about all this. Forget about reloading. if you ever need it, it'll be the last thing you worry about. So don't even worry about it.
Oh, Kevin in New York says he's listening. All right. So that is being a bit extreme there, New York.
Hey man, you do what you got to do. Getting groceries isn't easy around here.
Yeah. So no, but what's your opinion? Do you think velocity, is that the word I'm looking for? Stopping power is better than shot placement?
I think velocity is a big factor, but when you're speaking of a handgun, it's kind of drops it significantly, in my opinion. But honestly, I think it's everybody's got different talents, different comforts. I feel both is important, shot placement, and I think that's kind of key. But being realistic, you don't always get a perfect shot. So I also believe having more chances to get that shot is important as well. And I'm a biggie on follow-ups, because your first shot, in a rush, a lot of people may be in shock. If this is a defensive thing, you're already reacting, you're behind the ball. It's probably honestly not going to be ideal. It could be. I mean, sure, there's situations for everything that, you know what you're getting into, but other times, the majority of the time, it seems you're reacting, you're already behind the ball. So, but everybody sees different value in things. Obviously, I choose 9mm because I'm cheap, and it gives me plenty of opportunities and provides a little better penetration in some situations. But in my area, houses, buildings are tight. A little better penetration is a good thing, in my opinion. Vehicles, there's a lot more barriers in some cases. So, and again, I have a few extra rounds, but I don't really think there's a right or wrong. If you want to pin down, this is what it's got to be. I think for different situations, different things may be better, but as an all, personally, I like having more opportunities, and I do feel shot placement's key. But I won't shame anybody for wanting to go another way. I will put the scenario out that, say you are using a hand cannon in your bedroom and somebody's rounding, coming in or whatever, how many shots can you get off, or something a little more manageable realistically? So if your first shot isn't great, how many more chances do you get? So, things like that. It may not be typical, our ideal, and everybody, again, puts different value, different places. So that's what I got. I know it's kind of a political answer or something like that, but I think it's fair.
That was
honest.
I don't know about political answer. That was definitely on the fence answer.
Well, everybody's different. Again, people have, in your situation could be different. You may be more concerned about bear than people. You know what I mean? It depends on you, and what your purpose of defense is, or your idea. So, so again, that's what I got.
Yeah, mind you, I think it was an FBI study or report. They wrote that 75%, I think it was, of people who are in a shooting.
It's less than 6 rounds or something, right? But I'd throw back everybody.
I wasn't going with that. I was going.
They don't live in average places.
Where I'm going is, I mean, most people were saying 75% of people in a firefight shooting who get hit survive. Because a handgun, unless your shot placement is where it's meant to be, right? You can keep on going.
Yeah. Rifle, it's the other way. You're more likely not to live, and that's due to the velocity.
And you think about it. I mean, unless you hit somebody in the in the brain that drops them dead, in the pelvic area that cripples them, or right in the heart that stops the heart from pumping. But if you shoot somebody, you hit them in the shoulder, you hit them in the arm, it's going to take forever for them to bleed out, and they're going to keep shooting back at you. So what I'm thinking. I mean, unless you hit them in an artery, like if you shot them and hit them in the leg, and you hit what's that artery that runs down your leg there, and you bleed to death. But otherwise, that's why I think placement is the way to go over power. And I don't know. What do you think, Squib?
I think that some of the ideas you have about using a firearm defensively are from watching too much damn TV.
Okay. So what?
I mean, you're talking about using a 44 Magnum like it's some sort of full auto 44 Magnum. There's not a lot with a 44 Magnum that has a lot of capacity. So shot placement is key. Having something with that sort of power, and then as far as hitting them in a certain area, if they're on drugs and they don't feel anything, yeah, they're going to keep coming at you. But if you hit them in certain areas, maybe not. It's not like TV. Sure, you want shot placement. You want shot placement not just because you want to stop the threat as quickly as possible, but you also don't want any collateral damage. I think that the most important thing, it starts with you. Are you capable of doing this? Because if you're not, why bother? It's just to look good or feel good or whatever. If you're not capable, it's a waste of time, but it's your choice. I don't think your freedom should be taken away just because you're not capable of it. Then after that, it's what's applicable to where you live or where you're carrying a firearm. If you go to different states or things like that, right? Or, are you carrying it at work, or where are you most likely to carry it, and what are the laws in those places? Then after that, it's probably, what do you shoot best? Then after that, it would be something like cost or concealability or something to that nature. You kind of have to start with, why do I have this? And then what's it take to use it? And what's the best tool that I have access to, or at this time, right? You could always change. Right? You start off with something and you get something that maybe works better for you for whatever reason.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
There are people that swear that all they need for their entire life is a 22 long rifle. It's the best round. It's the only round. If it works, hey, fine, whatever. I'm going to give you crap over it, but
yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, but really, yeah. You said what you said. You said it in a different way, but basically, you said the same thing as New York.
No, I put it in different priority levels. He's all over the place, just trying to placate to the audience, so he doesn't seem like he's so manipulative. You really do have to start somewhere, and that starting that can't. I shouldn't say can't. It probably isn't a good idea to start with what tight t-shirt instructor told you, what YouTuber told you, what your gun buddy who says just shoot him in the front lawn and drag him back in the house told you, what some cop who doesn't know the first thing about the gun laws he's supposed to enforce told you. It's going to take some research, and in that you're also going to have to figure out, I mean, what are you capable of? I mean, you have the 380 easy because of your arthritis, right, Rick?
Yep.
But it's also small enough to conceal, right?
Correct.
And you have the means to reload the ammunition so you can make 380 more affordable, because it costs more than 9mm. Outcast shoots 9mm because he's cheap. If 380 was cheaper than 9mm, he'd have a 380.
No.
Yeah, I bet he would too.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's funny though. But no, I'm not. I'm cheap. I'm not that cheap. I mean, someday I might get a 380 because I kind of like the idea of the whole pocket gun. I use a gun kind of as a pocket gun here and there, but something a little tinier or something might be all right. But I've always just had a thing against those really small guns. I just
Well, actually,
just don't like them.
my 380 ain't that small. That 380.
Yeah, well, it's
UT
got to be
form
smaller
center.
than my shield, or what's the point of buying it? Is the way I look at it.
So, yeah. Another thing you got to look at if you're into, if you want to get into the competition side of shooting,
Not a Les Squibs fan for it.
the was it the ISPA or whatever the name of those. There's one that's rated, then you got one that's sort of like defensive thing. Hey, either one of those, the smallest caliber they will let you use is 9mm. So,
But that's not real defensive shooting. That's a
I know it's not, but I'm just saying if you wanted to get into competition, the smallest caliber you can use is 9mm. So it's just something I noticed. Where I was going with this, I was reading an article today too about the new 30 super carry, whatever it's called. You wouldn't be able to use that in the shooting competition because it's smaller than a 9mm.
Okay, Rick, if the latest greatest gadget's making you feel inferior because you went with old reliable, the 30 super carry was created as a marketing scam. How do we make our brand, our company relevant? Instead of doing what the customers want, which is bring ammo prices back to what they were, bring availability back to what it was, get reloading supplies on the shelf too, all that other stuff, they're going to come up with a new caliber and push that, and everybody's going to flock to it because all these YouTubers have made it so popular. Why? Because it's the new thing, and that builds analytics and blah 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 blah, and it's just a bunch of hype and BS. It's another caliber that nobody asked for.
That's where I was getting at. I don't feel my 380 is any less than that. But I mean, as I said, I couldn't see the point of it. That particular new caliber. I see
Imagine how many primers have been sucked up for that new caliber.
Precisely.
How many, for argument's sake, instead of Federal making this ammo, they could have used that machine to make 9mm to get the shelves full again.
Oh, the shelves are full.
Yeah.
It's just the prices need to come
Lower it down.
Yeah. Well, the reason the prices are high is because they're fucking having to retool their machines for this stupid ass 30 super carry that nobody wants. I bet you.
No. People want it, but this is where when Outcast talks about keeping up with the Joneses, this is an example of keeping up with the Joneses.
It's going to be more expensive than most ammo. I bet you it's more expensive. I hadn't even looked for it. I bet you it's even more expensive than 380. So if you're going to then you've got to find a gun manufacturer that's going to make a firearm in that caliber.
There already are.
I know there's a few out there that are, but what I'm saying is you got to find that. Then you got to pay the high price for the ammo, and you got to practice if you want to be proficient. So I mean, to me, it's as you said, it's a big scam.
If more companies make firearms chambered in this, maybe even you get one of the aftermarket mag companies making some less expensive magazines. If more companies jump on board as far as manufacturing it, if there's more support in the reloading area for hand loads and whatnot with this, you'll see it take off and last. If there isn't a lot of support, if there isn't a lot of variety in it, it'll fizzle out. There have been other things in the past that they didn't get the support and they died, and other things slowly grew. When 10mm came onto the scene, only one company was making the ammo for it, and that was overseas. Now look at it, right? But it took decades.
Yeah.
We should probe new people when we see them in a chat or something like that. Ask them what they think is 30 super carry. just to see as a new person perspective if they're even looking at it as an option. Just out of curiosity, maybe we should try that.
Yeah. Oh, but I don't know. To me, it's just a waste of time to make it, from what I've read and seen. But,
somebody will like it. There's always
yeah.
somebody that likes it, or just a niche thing where people got to try it or have it. There's always a market, but how big of a market?
Well,
and how did that sacrifice, or affect the rest of the market in a sense? So I'm on board with 9mm being cheap. So if this is something standing in the way, I could care less about this Super 30 carry, because I personally don't have any use for it.
According to Federal's marketing, it is the best thing that's ever happened to concealed carry. So that means they're saying it's even better than 9mm.
Well, of course, anybody's going to say that. That's selling something. But, I just don't think the market's that big. I mean, most people that go to 380 is for the same reason you went to 380. You know what I mean? So it just doesn't.
They must have done research to spend this kind of money to market a new ammo. They must realize, they must think there's a market out there for it.
Yeah.
Because companies don't do stuff just for the sake of doing it normally. But I can't see. I mean, another one of their another one of their market employees fills the gap between 380 and 9mm. I didn't realize there was a gap.
How many people out in the chat would buy one? Just to own one, or because you want one?
Are you going to buy a firearm that will that does the 30 super carry, or have you already bought one?
Here's the thing: it's supposed to be able to give you like 2 extra rounds in the 2 platforms that they're making it in. Two more rounds than a 9mm, but more power than a 380 or something like that. For some people, capacity is everything, and that's fine. If that's your thing, that's your thing. It's not mine. All right. The capacity is low on the totem pole. I'm not saying there isn't a place for it, and I'm not saying that I believe in any of these bans or anything else like that. But for some people, they're not going to work on their skill sets. They're not going to work on marksmanship or discipline under fire or anything else like that. They're just going to, like what you were saying, Rick, spray and pray. So the more capacity they have, the better they feel about being able to use it. I mean, you guys are talking about follow-up shots. Sometimes it's a follow-up shot. Sometimes it's 4 follow-up shots. Sometimes it's no follow-up shots. The best shot is the shot you don't have to take.
Yeah, you're right. That's another thing too. Is I mean, my 380 only holds 8+1, so I have 9 rounds, but I carry a minimum 1 extra mag. I only own 3 mags anyway, but I normally always have an extra one in my pocket somewhere. Because back to what you were saying earlier. If somebody's drugged up, right? I mean, that stupid ass saying that I thought was pretty cool when I first got into guns was, if you can't do it with 6 rounds, you might as well give up. Well, if you're shooting at a crazed guy, those 6 rounds, you might hit him. I was reading another article as I'm doing my research. There was a policeman that somebody was coming at him. He fired at him, and he said, "I knew I hit him." Right? He didn't stop. He in the end put, I think, 14 rounds into the guy before he dropped. And when they got him to hospital, they were surprised that he didn't die from, I think it was 2 other shots that were actually lethal to anybody else, but he just kept on coming. So, so you got to carry. I mean, so, you know,
Not just that, but depending where you live, a lot of times trouble loves trouble, and there's more than one drugged up person or something.
oh yeah,
And then, even with domestics, I mean, this is a little bit different, but sometimes, you guys probably seen it on a different level. You'll see a guy and girl going at it. You try to break them up, and the next thing you know, you get attacked by both of them. Well, it's stuff like that. Couples, Billy Bob and his brother out having a good time, and you cut them off, and they say something. One thing leads to another. You might be dealing with more than one on drugs. So that's one of my concerns. So especially when a lot of the home invasions here are 3 to 4 people, so armed people.
Yeah.
And see, based on where you're using it, having that long gun with a standard capacity magazine, there's your force multiplier, right? You're trying to get out of town during an evacuation, that's for a natural disaster or something, and the police are useless, and the National Guard is useless, and you've got to try to get to your truck, from your house to your truck. Taking that concealed carry handgun with a single stack mag, that ain't gonna do it. But having that AK slung over your shoulder with a standard capacity 30 round mag, there's your force multiplier. So there are situations where, yeah, it's you versus other people, and just having that capacity could be enough to make them change their mind. And if not, you've got it. Better to need it and not use it than, need it and not have it. But there's a certain, I guess I'm going from your standard conceal carry or even open carry type scenario. Not, I'm going to look for a gang of thugs to fight, but I'm just trying to get out of the situation.
Well, you don't go looking; they come find you.
Only where you live, dude.
You live in the hood.
Hey, man, it's like that more places than here. So I'm just telling you, So, and here's not the worst either. So keep that in mind. You know what I mean? But it happens. It's regular. Grandma will be tied up for 3 days on the couch. Got all our food stolen, our medications, cards, everything. Like, it happens.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I wouldn't surprise. Yeah, I can believe it happens. And there was a
like a lot of places don't share everything in the news, and I'm betting this is typical even in some of your areas. Like, you'll probably come across seeing a lot of things that just don't get picked up in the news, and it's always because they're pending investigation, a current investigation, but it seems like more than half of that you never hear about again. So, I mean, keep that in mind. So actually things are usually worse than you think.
Yeah.
And a lot of places like to term things differently so it doesn't look bad, that, invite more business, especially if you have a college or anything like that. Everybody fudges the numbers for their benefit.
We actually had there was actually a shooting 2 towns over. I think it was drug related.
Yeah, doesn't mean it's the end of the world everywhere, Squib. And there's definitely places better than others. I'm not saying that, but I'm just stating as a whole, that seems to be the way it goes.
Yeah. So I'm still going to carry my 380. I think I have to buy some more magazines, because I don't think 3 is going to be enough if it comes down to crunch time.
That's your thing. That's your thing. I'm not trying to talk you out of it. I don't know. There's a certain limitation as far as concealed carry, how much you're able to do. I mean, if you think about it, the reality is, if everybody open carried a long gun with them everywhere they went, but now you run into problems with that. Even if it was legal everywhere, even in, where Outcast is at, if it was legal to walk down the street with an AK, right, that there's still issues with that. So there's no one perfect scenario, and everybody's gotta pick what's right for them. But and the way I talk about it, or the way I imply it, it isn't this gun battle thing.
You kind of pointed out is like you got to openly show it. Where my line of thinking is, this my last resort. You know what I mean? I'd rather go hands on. I'd rather try to get out of this situation in most senses, because it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. You're still the problem here, especially if you bring a gun into it. So, the best thing to do is avoid the problem if you can. But sometimes you just can't. You know what I mean? So in those situations, and obviously verbal, you want to get people's attention. It might get the hands on if it's a possibility. And then worse come to worse, it escalates. And things could happen where it escalates quicker. But, I don't use a gun as a threat. Like, I don't want to have to shoot you, in a sense. And it's not like, don't screw with me because I'm a badass and I'll put you on the ground. That's not the way I see any of that type of stuff. That actually kind of scares me about gun owners. Your first thought shouldn't be to, there's my excuse. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. But you shouldn't be a victim either. So it's a real fine line. Not stating that you are putting it that, but that's kind of how it seems like you're coming off. Like, and this isn't like a military thing or something where we're standing in a line guarding a post. This is daily life.
I got a question for you. Where you live and all these situations that happen in your area, have you ever had, for argument's sake, say somebody was made a move towards you and you sort of made a gesture that you were reaching for a firearm. I'm not saying you pulled it or anything. Has that deterred them from doing anything?
No, not that I can think of. I can only recall like wanting to reach for it once, and I did have it drawn one time, basically searching for a junkie in a Cubby area, but he'd already stuck an officer. So, and I was pretty sure he was around I know he was over by my place. So they ended up finding him next door. But, so no, I haven't used it at this point.
Okay.
If that's what you mean. Or I haven't used that as like a threat, like, better stop right now, I'm armed or something like that. No, I don't. Yeah, I haven't done that.
Yeah, because I'm digressing slightly from my topic on ammo, but there's a big debate on right now, with the anti-gunners, and they have all kinds of different things, but they're claiming there's so few good guy with a gun stopping something, even just by sort of like somebody's making a move on them and they sort of act like they're going to grab it and the person backs off.
They don't want to look at statistics that are available, but there's also a lot that isn't reported because of situations where simply having it stop the situation. Sure, it can escalate it. And if you live in a place with a bunch of hostile people, that could escalate it. But in most of America, it is there's a potential to stop it without even having to draw it. That's one of the reasons I like open carry. Other people don't. They say, "Oh, you're going to be the first one killed." All right, yeah, whatever. I'm not saying that thought process doesn't have some sort of merit, but I'm also, once again, not purposely putting myself in those sorts of environments. For what Outcast was talking about before you were talking there, Rick, I've got a defensive option, and I guess you're gonna have to wait till Wednesday to find out about it.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I just let me get back on track here on ammo, but nobody in the chat has mentioned that they are interested or own 30 super carry yet. There's not many people in the chat, but the few that are there, I don't think any of them have one yet. So no, unless it becomes real popular, I ain't getting one ever. Oh, G23 says I agree with Squib. on open carry. Yeah. Hey, I mean, let's see. I mean, I don't purposely open carry, but as everybody knows, I carry outside the waistband, and I, normally have a big baggy shirt on, or I'm wearing my, oh look, he's carrying a gun vest on, and it's right in Indiana here. As long as you got it's not a concealed carry permit. It's just a pistol permit, and you can carry. If you got the permit, you can carry open or concealed. So, so that's why I do that. And if somebody sees it, it's no big deal here in Indiana. So
I'm a big proponent of deterrence, but there's a lot of people who disagree with me. They can disagree with me all they want. I don't care.
yeah.
I see it as time and place, different situations. Not that I'm against it or anything. I just, from my personal way of doing things, I'd rather blend in until I don't need to, or till I don't want to. In other situations, I would like a show of force, but as a day-to-day civilian, I don't. But maybe that's because I'm, in a state where you'll get arrested for brandishing, or they'll say you threatened somebody. And here, if they can describe it, if they say, oh, it was a black Smith and Wesson, that's enough. I'm going, I'm getting charged, basically, because in their eyes, how would they know if they didn't see it? So they could have watched one of my videos or something. I mean, there's so many. It's just, if I wasn't under the microscope so much, maybe I'd naturally feel different. But I prefer to have an advantage any way I can. And I see it as more of an advantage to not be any kind of a focus until I need to be. But again, everybody's different. So I wouldn't say anything's necessarily wrong. It's just, for me, it's not the right place. But especially a lot of people around here, I don't know, I'd assume I would lose business too in some cases. So, because they wouldn't feel comfortable with me in their house with a firearm and things like that. I carry a gun in their house, but they don't see it. It's out of sight, out of mind. Doesn't matter until it does. So it's a non-issue. Life continues. But again, everybody, situations are different for people. And, also, like I've stated too, I can't speak for Squib or G23 as an individual, but, I'm more likely to react in a different way than just going for my firearm if something does come up. And honestly, in some cases, I'd rather it's not an excuse where somebody is going to go. I might want to deal with you personally. So I don't want to have to jump right to a gun because you're going to try to take it or something. But, again, everybody's different. It's not like I enjoy, harming people, but I don't know. I'll just leave it at that. But everybody sees things differently.
Yeah.
Did G23 call 380 ACP 9mm limp?
He called 9mm limp.
Yeah, but or was he implying that that's the nickname for 380?
No. He was saying 9 people you shoot 9 equal limp. He didn't mention 380 at all. I mean, was it? I believe New York's a 9mm guy, so he's But he said Oregon and Washington, you can carry open without a permit, but you have to have one for concealed. That's the same there in Michigan, isn't it, Squib?
Yeah. I'd like us to get constitutional carry. But until Indiana or Ohio get it, we probably won't.
Well, Indiana's still trying. I don't know if it's going to die in committee again this year. I hope not. Roll call's in here. He might know.
I'm not blaming it on you guys. I'm just saying, based on having lived here and seen things, that until a border state gets it, they're not even going to. Oh, they've talked about it before, but it's never really gone anywhere. It's not that it's got shot down or anything. It just hasn't really gone anywhere. And then Outcast brought up brandishing. They did, I think, reduce the penalty for brandishing in Michigan based off the original concealed carry law they had when they did those changes to make it better for people who carry years back. I think they reduced it to like a fine or misdemeanor or something like that, whereas before I think it was a felony. Now, I don't agree with that with our concealed carry laws. I think that brandishing can escalate or de-escalate a situation, and I think you might be able to argue it in court if you've got a decent judge or something, a decent lawyer. You might be able to show how brandishing saved your life. But I don't agree with that. I understand the point behind them making it illegal. They're trying not to have somebody try to go out there and be a vigilante, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, look at how many other things are illegal and people do them. It doesn't stop them.
Yeah. Roll call answered me. He said Indiana will never get it here. Constitutional carry. Very possible, but I would like to think it will one day. Because we're surrounded, I mean, except for state next door, Illinois. I mean, we're surrounded by quite a few states that have it. So
the thing I like about constitutional carry isn't that you're not asking the government for permission, which I think is BS. Okay, you shouldn't have to, right? And that's kind of the point behind constitutional in there. It's also that it normalizes it more. Look at how many other things have changed in our society in the entire time this country's been around, because it became more socially acceptable, more mainstream, more understood, more out there in the public. So if people don't need a permit to conceal or open carry, I think you'll see more people doing it. And with more people doing it, it becomes more normal. It becomes more normal, then people might start questioning, why is this a law? I didn't even know this was a law, or things like that. And just kind of, it might give us support, but it's not an overnight thing. It's a long-term thing.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Just point out when I've traveled and stayed out of town for months on end, things like that. Wyoming's an example. At the time, I didn't have a permit that concealed carry would have been acceptable, so I did open carry because I personally called the sheriffs, all this type of stuff, the locals, where I was going, everything, just to make sure. And they were like, "No, that's fine. As soon as you hit the state line, you can strap on because we're constitutional carry." So I was like, "All right." And so I did choose to carry open other than not carry at all. So I will put that out there. So like I said, I'm not against it. So just want to be clear.
Yeah. Well, I mean, going back to what Roll Call said about Indiana will never get it. But our permit is free. We don't pay for our pistol permit. It's free. It's asinine. If it's free, why in the hell do we need one?
Yep.
They want your info.
So,
well, I was concealed carrying a couple months ago, but I was just doing it to test out the belt. I mean, it doesn't bother me. I had a concealed carry permit for 10 years. I'm not against concealed carry. And I do think that there are some places where it might be more practical than open carry. But for me and what I do and what I prefer, open carry does a lot more, mostly because of the deterrence, but there's other reasons too. But concealed carry is not a bad thing at all. But look at how it gets sold. Okay, whether you have a free permit or the state charges you for the permit, look at all the training, look at all the instructors, look at all the marketing for the holsters and the belts and the purses and the jackets and even this cartridge, right? We're talking about this this defensive cartridge here, or it's marketed as this is for concealed carry type guns, and it's a big money maker. If you make the whole country constitutional carry, no permits, no training, no nothing, how many people are going to be out of a job? Now, I'm not saying there's a conspiracy. I'm not saying there's a conspiracy to stop it, because conspiracies are BS. Okay. But there isn't as much support for constitutional carry because people are not there are not enough people out there that have influence that want to lose their paycheck.
Yeah. No, I don't know. No, I was going back to your conspiracy is BS. I mean,
lots of things have been considered conspiracies that have later been proven to be factual. So
yes, I mean,
it's only a conspiracy till
it's
it's
a
not.
good
Now
example
there's
of
nuts everywhere, and everybody's got an idea. But
spying on the president. I mean, that was a conspiracy. But he got caught.
No, okay.
Well, I'm wondering if
Conspiracy.
Squib's got a bodyguard because
Okay.
his neighborhood sounds pretty good. I'm betting there's a gate, a little guy he gives cards and gift cards to every holiday that watches his trash for him and stuff.
The conspiracy thing has to do with the fact that you can't conceal it. I think we're talking about two different kinds of conspiracies. The conspiracies I'm talking about all come back to the same thing. The lizard people that live in the center of the flat earth. Okay. Everything comes back to some secret society. And
see, you got to take it straight to crazy. That's what they do.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's what the antis do.
Yeah.
If a small number of people were hiding something and eventually they got caught, that is a conspiracy by definition, right? But it's not a conspiracy in the conspiracy theory genre. Conspiracy theory, everything literally goes back to the lizard people living underneath the flat earth.
No. But that does sound like some crazy stuff right there.
Yeah.
But no. I mean, conspiracy can be a lot smaller base than something like that. I mean, but some would say we do live in a matrix. Who knows?
Yeah.
All our thoughts are energy. We're all electrical pulses. Everything. It's hard to say.
I know what a conspiracy is. Why the government denies that Bigfoot is real.
You're gonna give Squib a freaking heart attack live right here.
There's so many sightings. There's DNA being found. But the government still denies it.
Exactly what did they get the DNA off of? Ew.
Do what? They've got
nothing. I was trying to make a poor joke about bodily secretions.
Oh. But I mean, anyway, that's way off topic. Let's get back on. Let's get back onto our defensive ammo. So, since we're
all right, 9mm badass. It's changed since the studies. Everybody's against it because they're compensating. That's why they buy big vehicles and got to walk around with hand cannons. That it's just it. 9 is king worldwide. Get used to it.
The first handgun that I shot was my sidearm in the military, and they hand it to me, and I'm going, oh man, it's 9mm. Can I have one of those clunky old 1911s in the back of the armory? No, those are for the MPs. Oh yeah, because they need the stopping power. I mean, I have an M9 because I carried an M9, and I like the gun, but if you said 7 rounds with a 1911 or 15 with an M9, I'll take that 1911 every day.
Yeah, I know. I carried I carried my M&P 45 full size for years. Then I dropped straight down to the 380 because of the arthritis. I couldn't handle that 45. I could still handle it. I could still shoot it and hit what I was aiming at, but it was hurting my hands like crazy. With the recoil. And the recoil wasn't that bad, but my hands at times are so, it's kind of embarrassing. It's kind of, they're sort of like delicate, doing it, and they hurt like crazy for days, but, Oh well, that's life. But I mean, I've been working on. I mean, the arthritis. Well, I mean, in the winter months it's worse than it is in the summer. But I've been working on strengthening my left hand because, as you know, I've gone back to shooting left-handed. I've been practicing. And I can hold it up. I shoot better, believe it or not. I shoot, but I can. I can, lift my shirt up, pull it out, fire it one-handed, not two-handed. I can take that first shot one-handed and hit my target. At I'm saying 15 yards. I mean, I've hit this. We got it set up. I've hit the 7-yard target. I've hit the 10. I can hit the 15. With my 380. So. But I can put my right hand onto it and hold it, and I can shoot it some more. And it does. I mean, that 380, because the recoil is so light, it doesn't hurt so bad. I mean, it's not so much at the time it doesn't hurt. Like shooting that 45 at the time, it doesn't hurt per se. It's afterwards. Maybe an hour, 2 hours afterwards, my hands start throbbing like crazy. So anyway. So, but I was given a box of Spear Gold Dot personal protection. What's it? 90 grain, 380.
That's some good stuff. That is some good stuff right there.
Yeah. I got a box of that. That's what's this is what's in my spare mags right now. In my actual magazine that's in my firearm, or is it the other way around? I have where I reloaded my own with the Lehigh Extreme bullets that I done. Roll call. Rick will cherish the 30 super carry. No, I won't. I think that's a total waste of space.
You'll be doing
I'm
a range
video in the chat there.
You'll be doing a range video next year. This is a T&E gun provided to me and all this other stuff and out there blasting away. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Federal Ammunition. And stuff like that. You hit the gong.
Yeah.
This thing's better than Spotted Dick.
Oh.
Hey, put it this way: if a gun company wanted to give me a 30 super carry, I might consider having a go with it. But I'm not going to buy one. I'm not going to use one. I think I see no need for it. You got 380, you got 9 mil. You don't need nothing in between. And as all the ballistics show, 380 has better expansion than the 30 super carry. So I mean, the 30 super carry might penetrate further, but all you limp-wristed 9mm users and all that, right? Always worried about over penetration. Well, the 380 won't over penetrate. So personally, I've got the best carry gun out there.
Debatable, highly debatable.
My bullet will expand better than the 380. But it won't go all the way through the body and hit the guy behind him. So that's all I'm saying. And also, not only that, the 380 was invented by the godfather of firearms. Browning. He invented it. So there we go. What more can you ask for from an ammo? Then of course, and it's being fired out of one of the best guns on the market, an M&P 380 EZ Performance Center. Well, perfection all around.
Man, I'm an M&P guy, and it's still a little thick, Rich.
Yeah, got the cuts in the in the slide.
Might all be
I got the
perfect for
fluted
you.
barrel. You know what more do you need? You know. Rocol said he invented it so everyone could be happy and feel like they mattered. So I don't know. Anyway, I mean, goes back to what I was saying. There ain't no need for the 30 super carry. But if you guys want to use it, by all means do it. It's a free country. It is still at the moment.
I'm not going to go out of my way to get this thing or anything else like that. It's one of those, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And there's so many other things that already do the job, et cetera, things that I have been wanting to get long before anybody even thought this up. But if I'm at the range and somebody's got one, they say, you want to shoot it? Sure, absolutely. There's all kinds of guns that I either didn't think I would like or still don't like that I've tried out. I think it helps to be more well-rounded when you're passing judgment and or you're in a debate or you're just having fun pushing your friends' buttons. But I've had guns or calibers or accessories that I didn't think I would like that I ended up liking, and other ones that I thought were going to be great that were just crap. So even if I like this, I think the recoil is manageable or there's, it shoots really accurately or something else like that. It's just, I really don't see a need for it for me at this point. I mean, I've got so many other calibers that I still want to buy. I still haven't bought a 10 millimeter. I've been wanting a 10 millimeter since like 85 or 86.
Oh yeah. As you guys know, my number one project or this year is trying to save the money up to get me a 357 Magnum revolver. I don't own one and I want one. So I know my hands are bad, but I want one. So as I said, I can shoot it. It's just I have to pay the price a couple hours later, when it starts hurting. I'm not saying, oh, by the way, New York Outcast, I own a 9 millimeter. It's that Italian, Beretta 92. So I have one, and it sits in my gun cabinet. It's got a magazine in it, loaded. There isn't one in the chamber, but the magazine's full, and it's loaded. So
I'd give the same recommendation Squib did, in a sense. Or I'd actually recommend maybe more so that if you are a 380 shooter and you have the option, give it a try, because maybe it is something, the recoil and you get a couple rounds might be something you're into. Who knows? So,
if I'm offered to shoot one, if somebody's got one, they say, "Do you want to shoot it?" I'm going to shoot it. I'm saying,
give it a try. Knock it till you try it, and who knows?
I just don't see the point. I have
maybe
never
it does
shot
take
one.
off, and they do have some nice, some brown developments that do show some advantages that aren't available now. Like maybe
40 and 10
penetration, something like that. I don't know.
40 and 10 mil really haven't hit mainstream, really. When you think about it, there's only the king of all ammo is the 45 ACP. We all know that. So
45
ACP. is the only way to go. You know?
Well, the 45 caliber is so versatile. I mean, it fills a lot of requirements.
Yep. Oh yeah. And I've actually got, is it 2? Yeah. I've got the M&P 45. I got my 1911, which is 45. Yeah. I think they're the only 2. Yeah.
I wouldn't caliber shame anybody.
I got the Beretta 9 mil.
Except those 40 guys.
M&P 380. I have my little North American Arms 22 Magnum. What else do I have? Oh, I have my Polish P64, which shoots that little 9 mil 9x18. Can't think of that Russian ammo it uses. Can't think of the name of it now, but I got that. Now I haven't shot that one in about after about the second week. I got it because it gives me slide fight. And I've got a 38 special too. So
yeah, I just picked up something chambered in 454 and something chambered in 375 today.
Oh yeah.
Well, I should say I opened it today. It's been sitting around.
Yeah.
Should check those packages. You never know. You might have ordered a 10 millimeter. Just forgot about it.
10 millimeter won't show up at the door. 375 and 454 will.
No, there you go. So yeah, my P64 showed up at my front door because I purchased it on my my CNR FFL license. You know, and I still got that, and that's still current, and I haven't bought a CNR, and that's the only CNR I own. Oh, I forgot to mention I've got my my single action Army. And there's a 7.5-inch barrel too. So that actually shoots a 45. I mean, it's I know it's a 45 Colt, but it's a 45. You know. So, oh well. But where was I going with this? I can't remember where I was going. I lost track. Oh, then I was going through what I own, which is not a lot. So that's all the handguns I have. I think. That one, those. Yeah, that's all the handguns I own. Then I have a Maverick 88 12 gauge. I tell you what, that is not a bad shotgun. It really isn't. You know, people might laugh at me because it's a Maverick, but it's you know, it's a damn good shotgun. I've had no trouble with it. I mean, if I shot it hundreds or thousands of times, it might wear out. But you know, right now it runs pretty good. Then I have my 22 Winchester lever action. Then I've got my AR-15 M&P. That's 3 M&Ps I have. You know, my M&P AR-15 hanging on the wall with the RNLDisplays.com wall mount that comes in when you buy the kit. It comes with the wall mount with all the hardware to hang it on your wall. It looks beautiful hanging up there. It looks like it's just floating in space right there behind me. You know, you go to RNLDisplays.com, veteran-owned American, you know, and and not only A&R, I believe we do He does Glock rifles that handle Glock magazines. You do AKs yet?
Not yet.
No, okay. So, but he's getting there. But anyway, when you go to checkout, type in Rick's Life and get 15% discount. And I get no money for this. I'm not sponsored by rnldisplays.com. Not yet, anyway.
Yeah, you'll be in the pocket of big R&L before you know it.
That's right. I will be. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that. I think it's a great. I really do. I actually use the wall mount more than I use the table stand. So. So.
Looks good up there.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. Oh, PNW Woods says Mavericks are good. I've broke a couple, but we were shooting weird stuff through it. So, yeah, that there you go. Yeah. I haven't shot mine in a while. I need to get it out. So,
I'd recommend a Maverick 88. So,
yeah.
I haven't personally owned one, but a lot of people I've come across have. So
it's almost
knock off
identical.
Mossberg 500, right?
Yeah, the only difference
knowledge.
between the two, you can even swap parts, except the only difference is where the safety is. On the Mavericks in a different position. So.
Yeah, for the price, especially if you just want something, it's not a bad deal.
No.
Worked fine, or even an H&R. If you come across one of those, they tend to work well too, and pretty affordable.
Squibload, Maverick 88 equal Mexican Mossberg. Yeah, and I got the is it the I think mine's the 18-inch barrel on it. It's oh yeah, it's a nice one. Plus, isn't that the firearm that our beloved president with the most votes ever, legitimate votes ever? Isn't that where he says rack or shoot the shotgun in the air a couple of times and it will scare anybody off?
Yeah, don't do that.
So. The difference is between that and a Mossberg is a different trigger group and barrel not tapered or trapped. There we go. What was you showing there? I didn't see it. All I saw was blue sky as it went off. Oh, popcorn. Popcorn. Yeah, popcorn. As long as you don't have it smothered in butter, popcorn's not bad for you.
Smothered in salt.
That's bad for you. All that salt. But yeah, personally though, when I eat popcorn, I've cut way back on the butter, way back. But I do like salt on it, which I have to cut back on because that's not good for my blood pressure and high cholesterol and all the other good shit. Anyway, what's next on my agenda here? We're going to talk about. We covered most of the caliber thing I wanted to talk about.
Well, is there anything you wouldn't recommend somebody do? Or caliber for defensive purpose? Like, don't carry a 50 BMG. Don't carry a 22 short. Is there anything you would tell people not to do?
Well,
Most people know,
I wouldn't
probably in our chat, but
I wouldn't tell them not to carry 22 short, because back to my very first statement out of my mouth, shot placement. You place that shot with a 22 short in the right place, like right in your head, and it penetrates the brain, you're gone. You know?
will a 22 short penetrate the brain from 12 feet away?
For years, and I got to look it up, but I think you're fine.
Or a leather jacket, sweater, t-shirt.
I think you're fine. The 22 has murdered more people around the world.
True, but 22 LR is a lot more common.
You know,
when you're using those numbers, you are correct. 22 is supposedly the number one killer, but I believe they're referring to 22 LR, not 22 short.
Yeah, yeah. But no, I wouldn't. If somebody wanted to carry one, I wouldn't stop them. Now, as you say, carrying a 50 BMG might be a bit silly. First off, you can't conceal it. Be very damn hard. You know, it would be. If you, it'd be like, what's that? What's that down your leg? Or you happy to see me? Type thing. So, no, but I wouldn't deter anybody from carrying whatever they want, really. If they want to carry a Desert Eagle, if you can carry it and get away, and you're allowed to, if you want to carry it open, if it's allowed in your state, go for it. If you can conceal it, go for it.
I like the Desert Eagle. It's, in my opinion, it's a comfortable, smooth shooting gun.
I've never shot one, so I can't say. But I'm saying I really wouldn't deter anybody from carrying one, any firearm, really, except for something that's more like a rifle than a handgun.
Well, do you think modern 22 will say is dependable enough? Because a lot of people would argue they'd stop at 25 ACP for center fire. Would you say rim fire is dependable
enough? Yeah. In today's manufacturing, that kind of stuff, yeah, it would be reliable.
I haven't had an experience with rimfire that has made me consider it as reliable as centerfire. Anything can jam, but I've seen more jams with rimfire because it's small, thin, kind of, it just issues with extracting, things like that. I'm not saying constantly. I'm saying more commonly in my experience. If rimfire is all you got, or it's something where right, you're more recoil sensitive or sound sensitive or something like that, and this is what you choose to use for self-defense, so be it. Just having a gun there is better than not having a gun there, but don't be surprised if it's not as effective as, say, 45 ACP.
Yeah. Another argument, when this conversation goes on forever, but another argument that I find strange, And I'm not sure if I've said it myself. I don't think so. But when they say, like, oh, this gun's more accurate than this gun, every gun is accurate than you are. They're made that way.
I don't know.
It-
I've had guns that I point it at something and it hits it every single time, and other guns where it takes some work to get it to hit it.
Well, no, I now see, I disagree with you. Yeah, it's the shooter. If you put those guns into a machine that held them steady in the same place every time, that gun would hit what you're aiming at with it, because that's the way they're made. Unless you're using reloads and your ammo is not right, that might make it go off some. But
keep in mind, technology is a lot better, but metal's not 100% consistent all the time. In the sense where, especially if you're heating, cutting, things like that, things may settle. There's retractions to different metals, where as they get hot, they will kind of shrink up the slightest. So, I mean, things happen. People get bad batches. So, yeah, nothing's 100%. That's all I'm saying with that. Modern fire, machines, when they start after a quality check or whatever, they may be 100% on point. And 2 days later, they're off a little bit or something,
Yeah, I'm saying you go down to the gun store today and buy a modern firearm, right? I guarantee that it's accurate. Now I could say, I don't like shooting my 38 special. I have a hell of a time hitting the target with it. It's not the gun, it's me. It's very snappy. See, pull out my 1911 45 ACP. That thing hardly moves because it's so damn heavy. It soaks up the recoil, and I can hit the target every time. And that's where I'm going with when people said. I'm trying to say, when a lot of people say it's an accurate gun, that's what they're talking about, is they can handle the recoil and and get it back on target with ease.
That's not what I'm talking about.
So,
plus true accuracy is going to have to be like very consistent ammunition. Like probably more consistent than maybe manufactured if you want to be 100%.
Oh, G23 says sights can have been misaligned from factory. So there is truth behind some firearms are more accurate than others.
Correct.
Back to what I said. You put that firearm in a machine that holds it in place, it will shoot straight. It will hit the target.
Not always. Not always.
No. Well, I will
definitely
have to,
not the point of aim in some cases.
Okay, I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm not going to agree with you, but you've been around guns a lot longer than I have, so I'm not going to argue the point.
I've had guns that I have owned because I wanted it. I liked something about it. I thought it was cool, thought it would fit this role, whatever. Just even trying different ammo just was not a straight shooter. Then I'm borrowing somebody's gun, a gun that maybe I thought was a little bit pricey for what it was, or kind of gimmicky, or something I just would never get, and point it. And everything I pointed at, it hits dead on every single time. And I'm like, I have got to get one of these in my life. All right. And you could say, well, some of that has to do with the shooter. Some of that has to do with the ammo. Some of it might have to do with the conditions. And to some extent, you're true. You're correct on that. But there are some things right out of the box. Guns can have issues. Things can be misaligned, warped. Certain firearms work better with certain kinds of ammo. Outcast is all, it's got to run everything or else, and not every gun works that way. And there are just other ones that just in your hand, natural point of aim, the way the sights are set up, easy to acquire the sights, the way the recoil's managed, everything, and it makes it shoot better just in general. and it's just like a shotgun being balanced. You look at some of those over and under shotguns, and you look at their price, and you go, "Holy crap!" But hold one. You could just balance the thing in the palm of your hand. There's a reason they cost that much, is because of all the engineering that goes into that perfect balance, and that balance is what makes them accurate. And I'm not saying that it has to be expensive to be accurate out of the box. And there are ways to overcome issues with the firearm, but there are some that are just better shooters than others.
Another way of saying this is Squib's definitely with the conspiracy that the magic bullet out of that Carcano or whatever went around the bend, over the bank, hit the guy, bounced off a stop sign, turned back around, and came at him again. So much for anti-conspiracy, right?
Yeah. Nah, there was somebody on the grassy knoll. Yeah. So. Will anybody ever really know the truth? No.
About what? I was looking at another video.
Oh man, you missed all that. That's too much.
My friend just dropped a new video here, so looks like it's going to be a good one.
What Rob was saying is, you believe the conspiracy that there was more than one, that the bullet went around the corner, up over the hill, and turned around and came back and hit the president.
Huh?
Mm-hmm. If he wasn't ignoring us, poor saps, according to his scaling, to go see a friend's video in the middle of a show, he might know what the hell was going on.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I find that, that's a height of rudeness, really. Watching somebody others video.
Yeah, but it just dropped, and it's something kind of interesting.
Anyway, I'm about ready to wind this up anyway. Cats need feeding. I need feeding. So. And we're just going off back on the conspiracy theories again. So. And I'm sure there's people got other stuff to do on a Saturday afternoon, except listen to me waffle on about my life as I see it. So. All right, Rob, you got any shout outs or plugs?
Just R&L displays, eat a salad, stay out of trouble.
Yep. Okay, that works. Squibload, you got anything?
Yeah, I'll shout out another channel. Check out a channel called The Wild Snapper if you're into antique guns.
Sure, that's a gun channel.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. So that's the only two panelists I've had today. Everybody else has bailed on us. Either they're very busy or they don't like talking to me anymore. I don't know which it is. But anyway, I want to say thank you for everybody for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. Oh, I forgot to say hi to Vanessa Kitty when she joined. So, anyway, where was I? So I want to say thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. It makes it worthwhile, because there is times I feel like just saying I'm going on a hiatus or whatever for a while. But there you go. Oh, if anybody's got any, get the word out. If anybody's got any swag they want to get rid of, you can just send. I can send you my mailing address, or you can send it to me, because I was thinking of maybe starting my quiz back up, but I need swag. That is the problem. So I haven't been to any shows or anything lately to get any, because of the dreaded, cancellations of a lot of shows. So anyway, I want to say thank you again. I will be back on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, the only time zone that matters. So I will see you all then. So good afternoon, everybody. Goodbye, Sabrina.